I just have to go with my heart and do what I feel like I have to do for summer. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, August 13th. Happy hump day. Happy hump day. Let me get up here and see who all we got here. Raymond Thomas. Got Raymond in here first. Yay. You're catching another live. Yay, yay. Purple hearts for summer. H. Davis. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Leslie, keep it real. Hello. Let's see. Yeah, you got 2 days in a row. Belva Parker, hello. Let's see who else we got here. Dawn Emery and Sharon Wade. Love my fur babies. Stephanie Williams, hello. Raymond said, I do. Let's see. Laugh out loud. All I do is work and try to catch Smiley. Smiley's on. You never know when Smiley's on. How about that? Carly, hello, hello. Glad to see everybody. Suzanne Church, hello, 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 hello. All them beautiful purple hearts. I love it. I love it. Moonflower and Medicine Man. Hello, hello. Nicey Marie. Hello. I'm praying she will too. I'm praying she'll be found too. Absolutely. Nancy Fleming. Hello. Good to see you. Mimi Jean. I'm so glad everybody's in here. Green eyes. There's them purple hearts. Hello, Rain's Dream. Hello. Good to see everybody. I'm glad you're all in here. Susan, Bama fan. Everybody's here. Yes, and we are all praying for Miss Christine and her family. It looks like Miss Christine lost her battle today. So praying hands for Miss Christine and her family, definitely. Definitely. She was a beautiful person, and she really loved summer. She really loved summer. Yeah, she passed away this morning. I seen that earlier. Absolutely. Yep. We will never give up on summer. Yeah, she passed away this morning, Bama fan. So, absolutely prayers, everybody. So, I wanted to come on here and hello, everybody coming in. Welcome, welcome. I wanted to come on here and talk about TBI, put this new age progression out on Summer Moon Utah Wells. Right here. They do it about every 2 years. This is actually Summer right here. This is, as we all know, this is actually her right here where my arrow is. I don't know if you can see it or not. They did this one, and now they've done this one. Hey, Rains. Hello. Absolutely. Fly high with Jesus, Miss Christine. And first, I want to play this clip. I just saw the news clip. Well, I didn't see it. I'm going to see it with y'all as I was coming on. So they have already got it in the news. Well, I forget. They're an hour ahead of me. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and play it and see what is up with it. Okay? I don't know if I can get the right dang one. Hold on. Shoot. Hold on. Is that the right one? Oh, here it is. Okay. So, yeah, it is. Hold on.
For the Houston Texans, Will Anderson, honored that Clinton Portis is our guest.
Also just into our newsroom, agents with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation released a new age progression picture of a missing Hawkins County girl. Summer Wells was last seen in June of 2021 when she was 5 years old. This is what they believe she could look like now at the age of 9. Forensic artists with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children created that new image. Wells was last seen walking away from her home on Bell Hill Road in Hawkins County.
Bell Hill
There is
Road.
still an active Amber Alert
Oh, Lord.
for her.
Even the news has it wrong. Lord have mercy. Bell Hill Road, man, they need to get it right there, honey. On Ben Hill Road. Ben Hill Road, people. I'm just saying. Now let me get this down. Lord have mercy. So they put up a brief one. Hey Deb, hey everybody. So yeah, and okay. Yeah, tell them about it, Green Eyes. I'm gonna let y'all have them today. I'm gonna let y'all have them today because they ain't gonna distract me. And guess what? After I get finished with this one, I'm gonna do more on Summer Wells. Just saying, so they can all be prepared. They can sit back and chill. Anyway, so let's talk about Summer Wells today, August 13th, 2025. The TBI released this new age progression image of Summer right here. And you know what? She was already a beautiful little girl. And, you know, I bet as she grown older, she would be just as beautiful as you can ever dream. I really do. But we'll get to all that in a minute. But they released this showing what Summer, now approximately 9 years old, she might look like. You know, the image was created by a forensic artist with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Hello, everybody coming in. Thank you for being here. The age progressed image helps the public and the investigators visualize how Summer might look now. And it also helps them to aid in the ongoing investigation and efforts to find Summer. And she would be around 9 years old at this point. Would she be alive? Thank you so much, Raymond. You are always so kind. Thank you. If anybody got that, please thank Raymond. Raymond is always so kind. Thank you. But this is the age progressed. And One reason that they do it is because it can spark new tips and the public can recognize things. Hey, Jack of all trades, good to see you, honey. It can, spark new leads and new stuff to come up and stuff like that. The TBI they continue to pursue leads. I've always told y'all that. I have spoken with them and I have called them. I have them on recording, whether they like it or they don't. So old Smiley's got them. I do. But, the TBI continues to pursue leads, and we continue to, think outside the box, think inside the box, and, nobody stops talking about her. There's still people out there talking about her, but they continue to pursue, they say, any and all leads, at least in this case. And they asked anyone that has any information to contact them at the 1-800-TBI-FIND. There isn't a fixed schedule. That's what I wanted to talk about for law enforcement or the National Center for Children and Exploited Children to create a age progressed photo. It really depends on the child's age, and it really depends on how long the child has been missing. And it also depends on the circumstances. Usually, how it works, however, is every 2 years. Every 2 years, they'll do that. And that's just a common thing that they'll do it every 2 years. And if they're missing, if they're under 18 years old, it helps to account for their growth changes because they have experts who, study that stuff, and their growth they don't stop growing is what I'm trying to say. Hello, Summer. Hello, we're Summer and Sebastian. Hello. And it helps them. And while it's not so overwhelming for the public, to get updates. So at least they are given updates on Summer. And earlier updates may be done if before the 2 years, if the child went missing at a very young age, or if their appearance changes. Thank you, Raymond. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I've never made my goal. Thank you. So that helps. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. You're always so kind, Raymond. Where is the new picture at? It's right here. Do you see it? I got 3 of them up here. We know which 2 these are, and then this is her right here with the long hair. So, and the TBI's got it on the website, and it was just on the news. So they got it up. Girl, you don't want me to start pushing no buttons, honey. I might put y'all into next yonder. I might put y'all out there into next yonder. You're going to have to get your reading glasses on and look, honey. I'm just saying. But investigators, sometimes they do it if they get new leads, and sometimes they do it to renew public's attention. Sometimes they do it to renew public's attention. Now, if they'll do it but every 2 years, the norm, every 2 to 3 years. How much the child's features would likely have changed when releasing these, I don't know. It depends. Children grow. It depends. Upcoming public awareness pushes, anniversaries, media events, missing children's month, stuff like that, that could cause it. But Summer first went missing June 15th, 2021. They did an age progression in 2023 when she was about 7. So The one in the middle right here is the one that they did. I know everybody had a fit. Nobody seemed to think that looked like her or they liked it at all. I think even Dawn and Candace might have had a problem with that, especially Dawn. But it is what it is. And then this one right here, I think this one's just darling. I really do. And, you know that I've seen around the website that don't look like summer. It don't look like summer and all the things. Listen, summer's still missing. And it's likely they'll do another update in 2027, But here's the thing. It may not look like summer, but none of us, not me, not you, not anybody who's been on this case every single day, 24/7, not the neighbor, not Candace and Dawn, okay? Nobody knows what summer would look like today. And if they passed her on the street, they probably would not know her. I'm just saying, okay? So that's one reason that I'm doing this. It's not fair. I don't think it's fair to sit there and go, that don't look like summer. Well, really? I don't think summer's going to be a 5-year-old bald, shaved head like she has cancer, completely bald anymore either. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. We're coming up on this heartbreaking update. It is heartbreaking. We shouldn't even have to be doing pictures on any of these kids, to be honest with you. We really shouldn't. Earlier today, the TBI investigation released a brand new age photograph of Summer. Again, it's right here. And it's showing what she might look like at 9 years old now. She vanished from her Rogersville, Tennessee home on June 15, 2021, and it's been over 4 years. Kids change. Now with a new photo, her photo everywhere again is put out there. They're renewing hope in people. Doesn't matter what you or I think, because I hadn't took my eyes off 110. I'm sorry. But they are renewing hope. They are at least letting the world know they have not forgotten Summer, right? None of us here will ever forget Summer. We just won't. I always said from the very beginning when I started covering Summer, and y'all may forget, some of you may remember, I always said Summer is America's baby. But now, and now that I'm familiar with YouTube and I see and have people and subs all around the world, actually it's beyond America. Summer is the world's baby, to be honest with you. Everyone loves Summer Wells. I don't think anyone comes across her name, her story, or her face, and they don't pray that she's found no matter what. I know I don't. She deserves to be found. She deserves to be found. She deserves all the grace and the dignity. Either way, all the grace and the dignity. This little girl needs to be found. And if you don't know her or her story, it's sure a sad one. But the main thing is Summer Moon Utah Wells This little blonde hair, blue-eyed girl went missing June 15th, 2021. And that was when she was 5 years old. You know, and that happened in Hawkins County, Tennessee, Rogersville, Tennessee. Last seen at her home or near her home. It was said she went out to plant flowers with her mom and her grandma, and she was taken back in the house with her mom. With her brothers by her mom. Never to be seen again. You know, imagine that. Way out in the boondocks, honey. In bum-effed Egypt is what I call it. In my opinion, like people's going to go up there with the school bus and the other trailer and, you know, at least 5 people home and dogs. I mean, you're right, little Redo. How does that happen? I said, Okay. Investigators, TBI in Hawkins County and FBI, they were all involved. There was never a trace. Previous updates, progress, images released in 2023, like I said, when she was around 7 in the middle picture. And that was also early 24 was coming up on the 3-year anniversary of her missing. I don't like to call it anniversary. I don't even know what to say, you know, but today is 2025. This was a massive search. It had many search efforts. They say it was at that time, it was the largest manhunt in Tennessee for a little child at that time. The reality was no confirmed trace has been found yet. That's sad. The forensic artist, they're in partnership with TBI. And it shows Summer at age 9 with longer hair, older facial features. And the purpose of that is to help people visualize what she might look like now, like today now, in hopes it will generate new leads. TBI actually quoted saying, "We will continue to pursue any and all leads in this case." You know, TBI always said this case was not cold, in spite of what people said online. And I personally have phone recordings, like I said, with TBI. I've spoke to them many times. And they said this case is not cold. They said it was not cold. I've played it for y'all when many online said it was cold as ice. I do think that they are doing TBI, I'm speaking of, more in this case than they are in Sumner County. And I think that's mainly because of Sumner County, honestly. But I believe them when they say this case is not cold. But still, they should still have answers by now. It's been way too long. They're still working on this case, they say. And, you know, people say, again, this don't look like Summer. This don't look like Summer. I've been seeing it all day long. And it's okay. It's fine. Everybody can have their own opinions. Hello, everybody coming in. Welcome. But I will tell you this again, not one of us knows or has a clue what Summer would look like today. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter how your kids growed or my kids growed. None of that matters. Because if any of us saw her, we would not be able probably to tell that was her. She's not going to probably have a shaved head if she's still alive. And trust me, I have my doubts on that one. I'm sorry, but I do. It took me a long time to think she passed on. But do I think she's alive? No, I do not. I'm sorry. But is there always hope? Sure. Sure. But I'm going to tell you, children's faces change as quickly, especially between the ages of 5 and 12. And without updated images, public searches won't matter. They won't matter. People lose the accuracy of what somebody looks like. They do. And that's a fact. Listen, you can take your own photos. You can take your own pictures. You can take a selfie. And you can check them out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. You can check them out from 8 years ago, 4 years ago, a month ago, 8 months ago. You can put them side by side, and I guarantee you, you will not look the same. And if you do, good for you. Because 98% of people don't. First off, I just got a photo that Sonia sent me from when I was at Summer's first vigil. Oh my God, honey. Lord have mercy. Hey, Jack. Good to see you. Good to see you. And not only was I a huge cow, but nothing was the same. Not my hair, nothing. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, but that was back then. And then I was also taking photos from my trip just a few days ago. And I've lost so much weight from just my mom dying and also from being stressed and then having to do extra things. And then I've been sick too, off and on. And I've lost a lot of weight. So before even that, I would look at a photo and go, damn. I look horrible. And you know, or why does my face look like this? Or why does this look like that? Or whatever. And, you know, you can see the difference. Photos don't lie. Photos don't lie. They're not the same. They're not the same. We all change. Every person does. I don't care what nobody says. Everybody does. Jack says, I've gained a lot of fluid myself. Oh my God, I'm so sorry you're on congestive heart failure. I'm so sorry, honey. Many prayers to you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But Summer would not be 5 anymore. She has to have these photos until she's found. Either way. And they're not going to look the same. But with the forensic artists, they're specialized. They use special software, but not just that. A lot of people don't know. They do a lot by hand, or they touch up by hand. And the expert knowledge that they have to have with child growth, with their patterns, step by step. They have to get sources like from their photos from their childhood, which Candace didn't have a problem having those. They have to do the side-by-side pictures, the face, the front face. They have to get photos of their siblings, of their moms, dads, their siblings, if they're available, any close relatives or anything like that, and they combine them all. They also take into consideration any medical, believe it or not, any medical information, if available, dental records, any scars, any birthmarks, and stuff like that. So anyway, they do all that, and just well, let's see, what are you saying? Nope, she would be 9, and I can tell everyone she and my son are the same age, and he has changed so much. Yeah, exactly, absolutely. But they do all that. They go on the dental, and they still have to go in and do all that. They're trained to do that. We're not trained to do that. Even if somebody is an artist and is drawing, you're not trained with bones and dental stuff, and you're not trained with all that. So don't even try me. I'm just saying, I'm giving you the knowledge here. That's all. They use their knowledge, and they use how the bones are structured, how the fat distributes, and their muscles and their muscle tones, and then how it should be or would be year to year, and how these changes differ between boys and girls. And this is what they do, and they factor in everything. All the patterns, all the family resemblance, everything like that. And I mean, it's a neat process to learn, but it takes a lot of education and a lot of stuff. They use special knowledge, like I said, putting it in specialized software, but then they come up with these photos, and then these photos and stuff can lengthen or do the things you can't with your hands, their facial features and how their jawbones grow and all that, their width and all that, but their eyes and stuff like that, and their hair, all the things. But then it's taken out, and most of it is they go over it with a fine-tooth comb, and then they touch it up, and then okay, Gypsy, hey, and then they have to get final approval to even put it out. They get final approval from TBI, missing children's, and sometimes they even go to the families for approval. I don't know if they went to Don and Candace for this. That's something I don't know. But they draft the image up, and then they go to the investigators, sometimes the family members, and they get an approval or disapproval on it, and then if it's not right, they work on it more. I'm sure that's not an easy job. I'm sure it's not. But again, they'll do that probably every year until she's found or until she's 18. Now, the studies show that the accurate age progressions increase recovery chances. It does. Especially in cases where the child has been missing for years, and it keeps the case fresh and fresh eyes on the case, and it can spark up new tips. Hey, Twister. Yep. Yep, that would be a good idea. Absolutely. On they also, I think I might have said this, but they also use family photos showing relatives what they look like at similar ages too. I didn't know if y'all knew that or not, but they do that as well they do that to kind of predict like what she might inherit from her family or something like that. Or the traits. That's what I'm trying to think of, the traits. So they'll collect as much evidence as possible before they start with that, siblings, photos, aunts, uncle, stuff like that, if they're available. Now, again, that's the newest one on my screen, the one on the end here. And I have bigger ones that I put out, and they're all over the internet. I noticed I seen Twister had one out a while ago. All of them, they've been passed around. If you have not seen them, this is just a little icon I got on my screen. So if you can't see it, I'm sorry. But it is right here. We all know that summer, and in the middle, that was 2 years ago, and then that's her right here. Or what they believe she would look like. And so that's the newest information. And of course, they're asking if you have any credible information to call the 1-800-TBI-FIND. New images they think could jog memories. And, that's relevant. Like right now, I know there's a lot of stuff circulating in the Summer Wells case. I've just kind of try to stay out of it, listen to a little bit here, a little bit there, and stuff like that. But there's a lot of stuff going on out there, I'll tell you that. Now, I got some stuff I want to get into, but it's not on this live. I don't want to do it on this live, but I am going to say this. I'm tying this in with this. The recent court decision, June 2025, all DCS cases involving the Wells sons were dismissed, and the allegations of abuse and neglect were deemed unsustainable by a judge. Now, that's what we're going to get into next time. I got plenty to break down in layman's terms and in Smiley's terms, and y'all will understand it very well. But I have to bring this in right here and let you know that Don has publicly stated that because he says because of the dismissal, and this is why I have to bring it in, I feel. He says because of the dismissal, if Summer were found today, his quote, she would come home or be allowed to come home. Legally, that is not true. Will y'all listen to me, please? The dismissal means legally there's no current court order preventing Summer from living with her parents, but what would still happen, I don't mean to act like y'all are stupid, but please listen to me. If Summer were found today, even if the cases dropped, okay, first of all, she would get immediate medical care, psychological evaluations. They would do all of those things on Summer, period. DCF involvement would come into play again. So yet again, DCF would be in their lives, okay? They would make sure there's no bad conditions, no safety concerns, no living problems with the environment. The court would have to review to confirm all the reunification that was in Summer's best interest We ain't talking about the boys. We talking about Summer. Okay? Then, first of all, they would put Summer probably in a temporary foster care because they could put her in temporary foster care or relative placement while evaluations are completed. But I'm not so sure it would be a relative care. Don't get me started on that because I'm going to be a nice smiley today. That's all I'm going to say about that. So she would go into a temporary foster care or placement with a relative. So now, no, she would absolutely not just be handed over to Dawn and Candace. Just FYI. If DCF and the court, after all of that, find no current concerns and both parents, meaning Dawn and Candace, retain legal custody. See, I don't know. Did they retain custody or anyway, we won't get that far. Then she could return to them. However, if any concerns arise from Summer's statements or Summer's condition or any investigative findings, when and if she's located, the court can and will block or delay reunification until those are all resolved. If they are ever resolved. So, in other words, law enforcement takes immediate custody of Summer if she's found alive. And the first step is not to send her directly into Dawn and Candace's arms or to that home. She would be taken into protective custody by law enforcement to ensure her safety. And it would follow by urgent, and I do mean urgent, evaluations, like full medical exams to check her physical health, any signs of injury, any signs of neglect. They would do a forensic interview by a trained child specialist to document her account in a child-friendly way. DCF would automatically open a case when a missing child is recovered. Y'all hear me? They access current safety at the home and review the parent's legal status. Even though in June of 2025, DCS case against Dawn and Candace Blythe was dismissed as far as the boys, meaning no alleged allegations, but we're going to get into that shortly. The court still confirms and has to confirm. So is the home safe now? They also, does Summer want to go home? Because that's going to count. Are there any new concerns from her statements or her conditions? And if no concerns are found, if none of that's found, if everything is peachy keen with the icing on top of the cake and a nice little strawberry there, and Susie Homemaker comes down there to deliver, and everybody sits down and has their coffee and kicks their feet up, and Ronnie Lawson brings Candace some more wine-free wine, let's just say that, and it's all fine, then we would see. But the temporary, one thing they're going to do is, that's if no concerns are found and custody remains with the parents to the court order, provided there's no issues, if it's approved, or temporary placement if DCF is in the case sees any red flags. Any red flags should be put in a foster home or with relatives, but we done discussed that. I personally don't see her put with any relatives, but that's just me. She won't definitely, she will definitely, in my opinion, if she's alive, I have to say if she's alive, she would definitely have long-term, if not a lifetime, at least until she's 18, counseling and trauma support, just for her, just for Summer alone. Potential follow-up visits from DCF, where they're coming and going and checking on her safety and all those things. Even with the allegations dropped, even with those dropped, all that would have to happen and come into play. The decision to send Summer home isn't an option. It isn't there. It isn't going to happen in an instant if she was found. It's not about any of that. It's going to be about her safety first. The process is still built, whether we think so or not, on the ability to protect her. And especially, they'll be on her like flies on poop when she comes back, if she's alive. You can better believe that. There's not going to be a quick return. That sad Twister. Oh, I also hate it too when the kids are not together, I do. But as of August 2025, there's nothing documented anywhere, that TBI is going to do this large scale search or revisiting. Not from them, not from them. They may have went out there or maybe going out there. That's been some rumors about that at the end of the road or the driveway or something like that. Or that could have been some miscommunication I can't find anywhere. Short of me calling them and freaking asking them, I can't find that anywhere. And it says if it comes off of, here, anywhere, social media, might as well not believe that, because that's not what TBI said. And if Dawn said it, then it could have been a miscommunication. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying that part yay or nay, because I don't know. I really don't. I know 4 years have passed. 4 years have passed. Our hope, is still there for her. At least my hope's there that she'll get justice. She'll get grace, and she'll get dignity, and she'll get the proper things that she needs, whether it be a proper burial or whatever it is, it'll come. Yeah, Tim Mullins, don't even get me started on him. Ugh. But if you ever see her, think you see her, this new photo that they've put out, that's what it's for. And they want you to call. I do too, Twister. I do too. Because I'm just going to tell you, I don't think she's alive. But that's just me. Everybody's entitled to think what they want. I think whatever happened that day. I don't think it left that hill. And that's just me. I just don't. You know, I don't know. Leslie, I hope you get better, honey. Not crazy. Oh, she was asking Twister that. What Twister say to that? I think they would need something. That's just me. I don't know. Well, oh, are you talking about the photos not crazy? Is that what you asked? Not Twister? I mean, they can do it just like they do it here with the photos and stuff like that, you know, and they have to do it with, if that's what you were asking, I'm sorry, I'm behind. With the, that's what they go by. I mean, the family, and everything like that. So, yeah. And it could be, excuse me, it could be Twister. Sometimes I wonder about those steps there. You remember how the steps were before they fixed them? And sometimes I think something else, but I don't really ever want to have to put that out on here. Y'all can only imagine what I'm thinking. I asked Don on my, let me tell y'all like this and you'll know what I'm talking about. I asked Don, he didn't get it that night. He was so drunk. Of course he was drunk coming up on my panel on Summer's birthday. But anyway, I asked him, I said, do you think Candace is covering up for somebody else? Well, at the time, I'll tell you this, I wasn't speaking of Grandis. So y'all can read between the lines whatever you want to. Well, no, who would she be covering? We wouldn't be covering for nobody, you know, and all those things. So I don't ever want to put that on anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. But I also wonder if she had an accident down the steps, or was she pushed down the steps by accident, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say. It really is hard to say. I mean, you know, you get what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know. But I know that I have a whole thing. Again, I don't come in order. Just come whenever I feel like it. But I do have a whole thing that I do want to talk about on this discussion. She could have. It's not out of the question, Suzanne. But I just think, in my opinion only, I don't think it was no dry drowning. I just think that was thrown out the window a long time ago. But I mean, it could. I mean, you know, you can do that hours later. You know, people don't know that. People don't understand that. But I don't know. I just don't. I'll tell you this, she was weak, and she might have been, like Don said in his first interview, maybe, she would grab them boys and, do this, that, and the other. Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. And she's the baby. There's no doubt. But here's the thing. Y'all know how sickly she looked in the last little bit. So whatever was wrong with her, I don't think they got, this is my opinion, I don't think they got her medical care, or I don't think they even realized how sick she was getting. And I don't know if something internally, if she was bleeding internally, and I don't know if she was anemic, her it was going down so bad. I don't know, but she went downhill really fast from the photos and stuff. I'm just saying, if she was strong enough to get a stick, hit her brothers in the head, like he said, and all that, that's what kids do. But if you're sick and you're weak, no matter what the problem, you can't take up for yourself. I don't care who you are. I just don't care who you are. Yeah, I agree, Little Red. Twister, let me ask you something. Twister knows a lot about this case and a lot about up there and all that stuff. Let me ask you something. In fact, I mentioned it the other day when they started saying, oh, TBI is going to go down there and do this, that, and the other. Why would they need permission in the street? And that's public. And, I don't believe any of that. I'm just going to tell you. But anyway, I said, I don't know unless they are asked for permission at the bottom of the driveway. But while I'm thinking about it, and it may have been there for years. Twister, do you remember at the end of the driveway or towards the, maybe not all the way at the end, I'd have to look at the picture now. It looks like a slab of concrete right there that was maybe, I don't know how fresh it was, but do you know what I'm talking about? What are your thoughts on that? I know you know what I'm talking about. I just don't know where that picture is right offhand. Hey, Carolyn. I think even some said maybe Rose was buried there, but I just wonder a lot of times, could it be, I don't know how fresh was that? Could she be there? I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I think, and I just like, because we miss stuff, and I just don't know if you knew that or not, or what you thought. Is that where they put that bench at? Holy moly. See, if that's the case, I think TBI or somebody needs to go and look in that spot. That's just what I think. I don't know. Something just ain't right there. But it could be nothing. It could be nothing. Wow. I don't know, man. I'm going to go back. I need to go back through all of my boxes and boxes of notes on this case and really look. But I thought about that the other day. But, man. Hi, everyone. My opinion, Dawn and Candace are involved with Rose missing, just like little. A lot of people think that. That's not. A lot of people said Candace was jealous. So the one common denominator is Grandis. My eyes are not off of her. A lot of people think I'm crazy for that. And she got gone, and I don't know. It's sometimes them quiet ones you got to watch. I don't know, man. I don't know. So, but I won't keep y'all on here any longer. I did basically just want to let you know that if you didn't know or didn't see it already, that they did put this new photo out. That was just one I made right there. But I mean, that is the original pictures, but it is one I made for my little icon. But, please, pass them out. Do the right thing. It can get things sparked again. And if you have any credible information on summer or you remember anything, call it in. I call it in. It don't matter how long she's been missing. Somebody may have seen something. Somebody may have heard something. Somebody may remember something. I would give anything if all of these kids were found and all of them were alive and safe. Especially summer. That's why I come here, especially summer. Breaks my heart. But I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you for listening, everybody. And I will see you again. Thank you, everyone. Everyone. Hit that thumbs up and let's get this information out. Thanks. Bye.